Welcome back to the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast. At Healthy Steps Nutrition, we believe something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated, which is why we focus on a simple, habit-based approach. We know that helping your clients become the best and healthiest versions of themselves isn't just about what they eat or coming to the gym a few hours a week. We, as gym owners and coaches, have to focus on a holistic approach, looking at support systems, stress management, sleep, mindset, lifestyle, and of course, exercise and nutrition. I'm your host, Nicole Coyne, registered dietitian and founder of Healthy Steps Nutrition, CrossFit HSN, and HSN Mentoring. I'm also the author of The Basics of Nutrition Coaching, CrossFit Preferred Nutrition course. In this podcast, I'm going to teach you how to make one step at a time to becoming the best nutrition coach and building an awesome habit-based coaching program. Today's podcast guest is Amanda Haar. She's one of the lead dietitians at Healthy Steps Nutrition and has a slew of different certifications and additional education so that she can really help her clients become the best versions of themselves. She has worked with clients for years. She has amazing length of engagement. And with that, progress is not a straight line. There are always setbacks with clients. It's not if you're going to deal with this as a nutrition coach and health coach, it is when. Today, we are talking about navigating setbacks with your nutrition clients, how to do this and do it well so that your clients are excited and stay engaged and stay motivated and don't just cancel because it's not a priority right now. I hope you enjoy this episode with Amanda Haar. We will get to this episode right after this message. Did you know that Healthy Steps Nutrition Mentoring has a standalone nutrition coaching course for coaches and people who are interested in becoming a nutrition coach? We also have a mentoring program that includes that course, plus all the business systems and structures to build an effective nutrition coaching program in a gym. So whether you are a gym owner looking to build a comprehensive nutrition coaching program to help support your clients, and you need all of the business systems, the structure, the app to manage your clients, and the coach training, the mentoring program is for you. Or if you are a coach looking for more tools in your toolbox and really wanting to provide a holistic coaching experience for your clients, the Basics of Nutrition Coaching CrossFit Preferred course is for you. Click the link in the show notes so that you can learn more about the basics course as well as mentoring to find out which option is going to be best for you. All right, let's get to this episode with Amanda Haar. Amanda, welcome back to the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast.
Thank you for having me again, Nicole. I'm really excited about the content for coaching we're going to be diving into today.
You've become a regular guest on this podcast, I have to say.
I'm excited.
Today, we are talking about navigating setbacks with clients as a coach. So, I think sometimes coaches can get discouraged because they put their value on the client's success rather than what your value is really as a coach. And I think it's so important to be able to help clients navigate journeys, but then also understand, hey, like you're doing the best that you can and you're not taking the action for the clients. There still has to be some ownership and responsibility on the client's end to see the end result.
Right. And it can be really hard, especially if you're a newer coach, right? If we don't have experience, we don't understand that really setbacks are going to happen with most clients at some point. And the longer you work with them, the more likelihood they're going to have a setback or two right there that you need to work through together. But the more you can overcome that, the more confident you'll be the next time that happens for another client.
I think a lot of times, what that might look like is a client saying, I know I need to do something, but I'm not doing it. Or they feel guilty coming in because they're like, I didn't do what we said we were going to do. Right? Or maybe you have a client that's ghosted you because they're not doing the things, right? I think like those are some common scenarios that would be the outcomes of setbacks where clients are like, man, I don't want to disappoint someone, like disappoint their coach.
Right. And that's where our flexibility comes in really handy. So that's where we have to be able to, like you think in sports, right? Like we need to be able to pivot and run the other direction if we need to. This is exactly that same situation where we need to be able to pivot in order to go into a direction that our client needs with the client leading the charge.
So let's talk about 3 tips and then we'll kind of dive into each one of them, right? I think the first tip is understanding the overarching why, but then what is a client wanting in this season right now? And I think so many times as we go back to like what the client's wanting, maybe what they, what their goal was, their end goal was at the very beginning. But as seasons change, things change, and people might not have the same goals in that season.
Right, exactly. And a lot of times, what they're wanting at that time doesn't seem related to their end goal, but will ultimately help to reach that goal because you're focusing on something that's important to them in the now.
And then you end up being so much more valuable for them as a coach. I think so many coaches put the value of their coaching experience on information and access. I'm giving you a meal plan, I'm giving you macros when no, that's not the value of your coaching experience. Your value is for you to be able to help your clients understand what they're really wanting and like guide through thought-provoking questions and really be more like a mentor to them than just an information access. And when you realize that as a coach, you're going to exponentially increase your length of engagement with clients, your engagement overall, and the success of your clients, which is ultimately what we want as coaches to begin with.
Right. It's so cool that we can empower them to make those steps themselves, which also gives us the ability to understand what we can control, which is encouraging and empowering our clients, but also leaving beyond our control what the client is able to do themselves.
I love it. So I think an important question to be asking, at the beginning of every session, hey, what are you wanting right now? Like what's important for you? What can I help you with? And letting them lead the way. And a lot of times what ends up happening is you realize, man, they don't actually want to talk about food. They're really dealing with stress, or they're moving, or they've got work things going on, or they've got a lot of other things that they want to talk through that are ultimately impacting the nutrition decisions that they're making in the first place.
Right. And it's funny that we're talking about this because that brings me back to like previously, maybe 5-10 years ago in my career, I used to spend so much time preparing for my clients and making sure we knew what we wanted to talk about and have the education on hand. But when you come into a session asking, what's important for you right now? You can't prepare for that. No. It actually takes a lot of work and pressure off of your coaching when you understand that that is going to be the most important for them, not anything that you can imagine or prepare in the meantime.
They have an insight into their life that you will never have. So you have to keep that client-centered approach and really figure out what is your client wanting right now and how can you best serve them? Like we are in service of our clients. So tip number one, understand the overarching why, like what are they really wanting, but then what are they wanting right now? So, big picture, but then dive into the little picture too, like what these steps that they're taking are ultimately guiding the direction and where they end up in life. So help guide them intentionally. All right, tip number two. You are so good at this tip.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Finding the positive and becoming a bright spot engineer. We know that success leads to motivation, right? So if we can highlight the things that are going awesome, even if the client completely fell off and hey, we're getting back on track now. And if you didn't have a coach, you would have gone 1 month, 2 months, 3 months without getting back on track. So, hey, let's reset right now. It's okay. Like we all fall off. My job is to help you get back on track. And I think those moments are the most valuable to show the reason why they're paying you for accountability and support.
Right. That is so true. And I love that, like in this season, right? So we're just coming off of summer right now, and a lot of people have traveled, and it's so cool to see like when they've maintained their progress, right? We're not expecting them to make more progress while they're off on vacation at an all-inclusive for a week or something like that. But maintaining their progress is such a big win, right? We didn't gain over vacation, or we didn't gain the 15 pounds that we gained last year. And I love that question right there is, how is what you did right now different than what you might have done 2 years ago? Because then they can kind of look back and see how far they've come, even when they feel like they haven't necessarily maybe met some expectations that they had for themselves.
No, I think you as a coach can introduce this finding the positives and becoming a bright spot engineer in micro doses to build the relationship with your clients. meaning like you're not having to just use the bright spots and find the positives when people come in person. Your coaching experience should have checkpoints with clients on a weekly cadence, right? So you can highlight the awesomeness. In the Healthy Steps Nutrition app, it's super easy to see, did my clients do what they said they were going to do? Did they check off the habits? And if they did, one of the questions I love to ask is like, hey, Amanda, awesome job with adding in vegetables. How did you feel in the afternoon because you had vegetables for lunch? And what are you taking with you into the weekend to stay consistent with that? Now I'm causing you to like think about, okay, the positive impact that it's having on me. Maybe I'm not overeating in the afternoon. Maybe I feel more satisfied. Maybe my energy level is higher because I'm having more fiber. It's slowing down my digestion. All these things. Oh, so the positive right there, and you're not saying it. I'm causing my client to come up with the positive and then figure out how they plan to continue with that habit instead of just doing really good during the week and falling off on the weekend.
Love that taking that thoughts forward, right? Helping them maintain clarity with their steps is so huge. And yeah, just bright spots are so powerful, right? I feel like almost every client who comes into my office, they can really pull out challenges that they've had, right?
Yep.
A lot of times, even when asked, okay, let's start with bright spots. What's been going well with you lately? They're like, bright spots. And then they can eventually pull some out. But it's so important. And that's what I love about our strategy is that we focus on bright spots first and then take what we've learned from those bright spots and continue those as we go through for more success.
Absolutely. I think a simple actionable step would be starting all of your sessions if you're not doing this already. Like, hey, what's something positive that's happened? Like, tell me something great that's happened. And I like to like go broad first and then go to the nutrition, health, and wellness goal. So like, what's something awesome that happened in your life? Like now we're learning a little bit more personal things for them. Like I want to be able to celebrate those things. Then let's dive in to, what is something great that's happened with your nutrition that you've been able to stay consistent with, right? So, I think there is a piece that we can talk about with self-management here, because if you end up asking about bright spots and it's something that's not related to someone's health and wellness goals and you have a connection with that, it could cause you to go down a rabbit hole where you're spending too much time talking about things that are not in line with the client's goals. So I know Liz, one of our nutrition coaches, she sets a timer for herself that's, 3 minutes. Like I have 3 minutes as people are jumping on calls and like getting settled to like talk about the bright spots or like whatever the case may be. But then we're going into the real value that I have as a coach to asking those thought-provoking questions, helping create a linear path and helping clients figure out what the best next step is for them moving forward.
Very cool. I love the timer thing. That's so fun.
I think it keeps us honest.
Right.
Any other thoughts that you have regarding staying positive and becoming a bright spot engineer?
Right. I mean, just how powerful it is, right? It's just so powerful. And especially if we're thinking about clients who are having setbacks and navigating those setbacks, we do a big disservice if we're focusing more on the challenges than the bright spots, because there's always something positive. Like it's almost impossible to be working with a nutrition coach and not have some bright spots along the way. So really that focus is probably more important than anything else, because when they feel like they're not meeting their goals, they need you to pick them up. There's not going to be many other people in their lives that they're going to feel this candid about or this open with sharing with. And maybe they do, but you don't know if that person's going to turn that into a bright spot or just kind of commiserate with them. So that is really a huge part of our role.
Absolutely. All right. Number 3. And I think this is so important that most new coaches forget about, is really focusing on this holistic approach. And if I'm honest, like I didn't do this well when I became a dietitian. Like I thought my role was this nutrition lane and that was it. And the more I started coaching clients, the more I realized, man, the decisions, the inconsistencies have nothing to do with the food. They have to do with them not sleeping and then they're craving different types of foods. They have to do with their stress and they're not managing their stress because they are not sleeping. And it's like a compounding effect. And until you as a coach really look at a holistic approach and helping understand like, all right, let's dive into some of the setbacks that you're having. Like what's really causing it and what are you wanting around that for yourself, and helping them connect the dots. Because a lot of times people don't even connect the dots with what they're eating and it being related to not sleeping or not being able to manage stress in a productive way.
Right. And that's how cool our initial assessment comes in handy, right? It's so important that we hit all those points of understanding their stress, understand their sleep. And not only that, but checking in on that on a regular basis. Because again, a lot of times when there are those setbacks happening, it's a time when they're struggling more with balance of life, stress management, something else that is really going to need you to shift your focus with them in order to overcome that piece before they're going to see more progress with nutrition.
I think another big piece in regarding setbacks is helping your clients be intentional with surrounding themselves with positive people. Because, the people you hang out with are so influential, whether you believe it or not, to your life,
Right.
And, there's so much research around you're the average of the five people, right? We've heard that 100 times. Yeah, it makes sense. So if your clients are surrounding themselves with people that are going out and drinking or doing things that aren't in line with the goals that they want to accomplish in life, it might be time to help them pick some new friends.
Right.
Like that could be such a valuable skill set to help clients walk through. Maybe they can identify someone that is like in the outer circle that could be a really good influence to help them, positive influence to help them reach their health and wellness goals. And we all should have people around us, no matter where we are in our health and wellness journey, that are positive influences. Because if not, then we're going to be dragged down by the people who are the negative influences.
Right. Right. And I think of the families that I'm working with right now, several of them, most of them actually are couples,
Right.
doing nutrition coaching together. And I have been so amazed by the progress that they make when they're both in it, right? It's just exponential success. And the cool thing is they get excited for each other and congratulate each other along the way. Like on many of the days that I'm not necessarily face to face with them, they get to have that for each other. So that really just shows the importance of, maybe it's not your spouse, maybe it's a friend who's going through a similar experience, or a family member, having someone or some people who are invested in your progress and will congratulate you outside of your nutrition coach.
No, I think that's a really cool thing about CrossFit and micro gyms, right? Like you have this community of people that's all are invested in making themselves better, self-development, pushing themselves, and also realizing, hey, it's not just about the 20, the 1 hour a day in the gym. It's the 23 other hours I have to feel my body correctly. If I want to perform my best, I need to get some sleep. I need to recover. I need to manage my stress well. So being able to maybe connect them with a gym or somewhere else. And you know what? It could be, maybe they want to grow spiritually. Maybe they need to connect with a leader in their church, whatever the case may be, but you can help them talk through what they're wanting and kind of guide them to figure out what would be the next best step for them.
Right. And that is so cool. Again, we're like where that conversation can go, right? And like you mentioned, it can go in any direction. I'm thinking of recently we had, I was talking with a client that he's been through a lot. He's been through a lot of health issues. He's making awesome progress with being able to eat more, tolerate more digestive issues. But one big piece that we were able to break into was, is a therapist the right option for you right now? Like really having that full mental and emotional support, and reconnecting with a church, just those kind of soft skills that you usually think of that can make such a huge difference in someone's well-being, so that they have lower stress levels. If they're under eating, being able to have an appetite again. If they're overeating, maybe regulating the appetite because their cortisol levels aren't so high all the time.
There's so many things that you can do to help your clients become the best versions of themselves that is not strictly related to seeing a number on a scale go down every single time. And gosh, I hope that every person listening to this realizes, hey, your value as a coach is really to help your clients get to their best thinking, helping them stay accountable to what they are wanting, because there's so many other things going on in their lives that they need that support. They need that person guiding and walking with them through the journey that's going to encourage them and give them the support that they need to take the best next step. And it's not information. It's not just telling clients what to do. It's not giving them access to a gym. It's really walking with them on the journey that they're wanting to go on.
Right. And I love when you have that approach. And then when you do give them information, it's just kind of like an awesome added bonus. They're like, oh, thanks for that. Instead of really like focusing on that as something that you're holding as a golden standard. No, you're holding your relationship and their empowerment higher than just any piece of paper that you could give them.
And I think, there's definitely value in having resources. Like HSN has over 100 plus client resources in the platform. There's over 300 professional videos in the app that are giving clients information that's automatic. But with the resources that we use, hey, look at that. Like we have a positive affirmations list that just came out. There's one for coaches, which has been super helpful for coaches that are using it. There's one for clients, and then there's ones for teens, which is a really cool thing to use with parents that you're working with that have kids. And goodness, my husband went golfing with our kids yesterday, and he's like, Nicole, both the kids hit balls in the water on the first hole. Like it's a rough start. And I'm like, okay, well, the kids are working out in the gym with me every single morning. On the way home, we talk about, what are you saying to yourself? Are you saying out loud, I can do this? Are you saying out loud, like, I got this, I'm a good golfer. I have another shot. Like, let's go. I can do this. Or are you saying, man, that sucks. This is so hard. What are the thought patterns that you're helping clients get to? And so many of us are negative and hard on ourselves, and that's causing more negativity and more setbacks because of that. So there are things that you can do. And going back to this resource, when I use it with clients or coaches, hey, read through this. Like, what connects with you? Not every one of those 25 positive affirmations are going to resonate. Like, what connects with you? Highlight those. Say those to yourself every single morning and see how you start feeling about yourself.
That's so cool. And I love that not only is it a client resource, but a coach resource, because a lot of times we end up communicating with people as we feel about ourselves, right? So it's like the work kind of starts with us.
Yeah. The leader in you starts with the person in the mirror. You have to lead yourself in a positive manner. You have to take care of yourself. Self-care is such an important thing. And until we realize that, like, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right. And I love that also when we kind of we expect ourselves to succeed, all of a sudden our clients kind of start succeeding a little bit more too, because we just have that innate knowledge ingrained in us. So it's amazing how powerful something small like that can be.
Absolutely. So hopefully you use these 3 tips, really understanding the client's why and what they're wanting in this season, becoming a bright spot engineer, staying positive, and really focusing on that holistic approach to help your clients get to their best thinking and really guide them along the way, instead of just being an information access type of coaching relationship. You end up being able to have such a greater impact and be able to serve more people when you use these skills. Hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. You can click the link in the show notes to grab more additional tips to help you. And please don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review so that this podcast can reach more people. If you're looking for a turnkey approach to building a nutrition coaching program, or you're wanting to become a nutrition coach, we have a standalone nutrition coaching course, the CrossFit Preferred course that we wrote called Basics of Nutrition Coaching. And we have a turnkey solution for gym owners that provides the nutrition coaching education and the training to help you build, launch, and grow a successful nutrition coaching program. Click the link in the show notes and you can get more information about all of that. We'll see you back here next week.